This is a hard hit ball. Doug Glanville taking nothing for granted, hustling down the line just as hard as he can, and he makes it very close at first base, but out by a step.
And that's a good idea when you play this Philly team, because the man in the box, Greg Jeffries, is a pretty good hit and run man. He's hitting .319, 5 homers, 30 batted in, hitting .320 this year against Cub pitching. Just underway at Wrigley Field. Phillies at 34 and 34. The Cubs at 40 and 30 on the year.
The outfield has been very strong all the way around. They're not the most powerful group, but they have good averages.
Popped him up. Easy play at third for Jose Hernandez, who has been outstanding in the merry month of June. And there are 2 men out.
Well, you'd have to say that probably the unsung hero of this team, along with Mickey Morandini, has been Jose Hernandez.
Let's see if Scott Rowland can keep his temper in check today.
He thought that one was a little outside, and then he thought this one was definitely outside, and that's all it took for him to get the heave-ho.
And he takes a strike here from Jeremy Gonzalez. And Rowland got his money's worth, that's for sure.
I think he's lucky he didn't get a little suspension with the bumping.
0-2.
This is a pretty good young player who is going to develop into a prodigious power hitter before it's over. He's pretty powerful right now.
13 homers, 50 runs batted in, but does not hit nearly as well away from home as he does in Philly. And as soon as you say that, he sends a drive deep toward left, and Rowland makes it a 1-0 game.
Well, as we were talking about, he will develop into a prodigious power hitter, and he just shows Jeremy Gonzalez that if you get a little careless on the 0-2 pitch, you'll be down 1-0. And that's 14 and 51 for Scott Rowland. And you hate to see 0-2 pitches leave the park.
And that ball left the yard very quickly. 14th home run for Rowland. Last year's Rookie of the Year continues to swing a hot bat. He's now 5 for 12 lifetime against Jeremy Gonzalez.
Service wants it inside, but he doesn't want it there. You want this up and in to back him off the plate. That one belled high, and Rowland got his hands out and drove it way back.
So it's 1-0, and one of the Cubs tormentors on the year, Rico Brogna, stands in, and he continues his assault. He has a base hit to left with 2 outs. Brogna came in at .533 against the Cubs.
And the one game the Cubs were able to win, Brogna hurt his shoulder, had to be lifted out of the game the night before, didn't play that game, and the Cubs were able to beat the Phillies. But in the games that Brogna has played, the Phillies have won all 4 of them.
So 2-out trouble here in the first. 1 on, 1 in. And the catcher, Mike Lieberthal.
Now here's another guy that can lose a high fastball for you. You want to stay away. You'd just as soon throw him some breaking pitches. But if you go to the fastball, either go way in off the plate or keep the ball away from it.
1-0 Phillies on the Rowland homer in the top of the first, and it's strike 1 call. Lieberthal trying to fill the shoes of Darren Daulton, longtime Philly backstop who was traded to the Marlins last year, got his World Series ring, but all those problems with his knees forced him into retirement. But what a player he was for so many years in Philly. He could really hit.
And Lieberthal last year showed that he's got a chance to be an offensive force. He hit just .246, but he did hit 20 home runs, drove in 77. And if you're going to supply some offense from behind the plate, that's a big bonus for Terry Francona.
0-2. The pitch. Hit hard off Grace's glove. Couldn't make the play. He did knock it down, though. And that's a base hit.
I think Jeremy had best rethink the 0-2 strategy, because we saw him get hurt in Philadelphia when he was ahead 0-2 and 1-2. Now he's been ahead 0-2 twice, and he's given up a couple of rockets. One left the ballpark, and the other one almost took the glove off of Mark Grace's hand. No chance for Mark Grace as this one deflects away, and now another Cub tormentor, Bobby Abreu, steps up.
Abreu hitting only .471 against the Cubs this year. 3 homers and 6 batted in, and he has a 5-game hit streak. They got this kid from Tampa Bay in the expansion situation. Houston left him unprotected. Tampa Bay gobbled him up, traded him to the Phillies for Kevin Stocker.
Against the Cubs this year, he hasn't exactly been a one-man gang, but he's been awfully tough. 2 of those home runs came in the same game in this park.
May 28th to be exact. No balls and a strike to Abreu. He hammers that ball hard down the right field line and foul. And once again, Jeremy down on that field ahead of the hitter. No balls, 2 strikes.
Phillies have won 4 games in a row. And although they find themselves 13.5 games behind Atlanta, if they put things together the second half and have a kind of second half like they did last year, they just might make a run at the wild card.
No balls, 2 strikes. Abreu digs in. The runners lead at first and second. Now it's 1-2.
Houston scored 4 runs in the 9th inning last night to defeat St. Louis and push the Cubs 3 games back. Houston has won 6 games this year when trailing after 8 innings.
Isn't that something?
That is a phenomenon.
They've got a terrific ball club. The 1-2 almost to the backstop, and now it's 2-2.
I'd like to keep the ball away from Abreu. He tries to pull everything, and if you do keep it away and keep it down, you get a chance to get the ground ball to the right side.
Of course, the other big story down in Houston, Mark McGwire hit number 32 for the Cardinals. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Bobby Abreu. The runners lead, and the pitch. Swung on, hit high in the air to left. Drifting back is Henry, still going back, reaches up, can't make the play, and 2 runs are going to score.
That was very poorly played by Henry Rodriguez. He just kept drifting. Instead of getting back to the wall and then coming forward, he drifted back. The wind is blowing straight out, and Henry got confused, and that ball dropped for a double. It's going to score 2. It's hit off the end of the bat. It should have been caught. It wasn't. Henry gets turned around, keeps drifting, then no chance. And Phil Regan now out to talk with Jeremy Gonzalez, who should be sitting in the dugout. Instead, he's sitting there 3 runs down.
So all this trouble coming with 2 outs. That's been a nagging problem for the Cubs during this last 8-game stretch. The Cubs pitchers have been able to get the first 2 outs pretty quickly, but then the floodgates get open. So 4 straight hits with 2 outs. It's now 3-0 in favor of the Phillies, with a runner at second and Kevin Jordan the hitter.
Asked Terry Francona why he's playing Kevin Jordan. He said he wanted him to get 4 at-bats today because he's planning on using him as a designated hitter against Boston, so he wants to keep him sharp.
And he takes strike 1. Lifetime Jordan 2 out of 4 against Jeremy Gonzalez. Most of those first inning runs came in his first start of the year, but he's given up 3 today, and he's not out of trouble yet. Again, it's 0-2.
Jordan's a pretty good hitter, and he's had a lot of luck off the bench this year, used as a pinch hitter primarily. He's 7 for 26 with a homer and 5 driven in. That's good production off the bench.
The 2-strike offering. It's 1-2. Scott Rowland hit an 0-2 pitch for a homer. Bronya hit the first pitch for a single. Lieberthal, an 0-2 pitch, rifled off Mark Grace's glove for a single. Abreu, an 0-2 pitch off the ivy and left. Now it's 1-2. And Jordan stays alive. Cubs in this 8-game stretch giving up 6 earned runs a game, hitting only .210. So a stretch for Jim Riggleman where the Cubs struggling to put it all together. 1-2. Not going to get that call. 2-2.
From the Southwest Airlines Plainview camera, you'll see that Kevin Jordan is testing that back line. He's almost standing on Jerry Davis.
Well, he's got one spike in the chalk. I guess that counts. That ball hit hard. And under the glove of Blauser into left field. Abreu rounds third. Henry won't make a throw. It's 4-0 Phillies. 5 straight hits after 2 men have been retired.
RBI number 12 for Jordan, so a change in the lineup already paying dividends for Terry Francona. And I believe that the Cubs are going to be awfully happy after this series not to see the Phillies again this year. Good effort by Blauser, but it takes that high hop at the last instant and bounds off the glove. Would have been a base hit anyway, but Jeff would have been able to keep it in the infield and keep the run from scoring, but for that last high hop.
Well, with the wind blowing out, you'd like to think 4 runs won't be enough today. Let's hope Jeremy can get Relaford here and get this thing back under control. Again, he gets ahead, but he hasn't been able to polish him off quite yet. Relaford leads all rookies in the National League with a .292 batting average.
I think he had an 11-game hitting streak snapped yesterday, and that was the highest streak of any rookie this year.
Well, they know a thing or two about that with the Philadelphia Ball Club. Glanville, a 17-gamer now, had an 18-game streak earlier, a 14-game hit streak at one point as well. They're putting together some good talent up in Philly. Ground ball to short. Blauser handles it, flips to second in time, and the inning mercifully is over. 4 runs on 5 hits. Rolen started the fun with a solo homer on an 0-2 pitch. And after a half inning, Phillies 4, Cubs coming up. First, let's take a look at the Cubs Pepsi lineup. With the wind blowing out, you hope the sluggers can even the score here with Brown, Morandini, and Sammy Sosa with 25 homers on the year. Mark Grace has hit the Phillies well this year, looking for his first ribby in his last 15 games. Then Henry, Jose, Blauser, Service, and Jeremy Gonzalez.
And the defense for Terry Francona's fighting Phils. Jeffries, Glanville, and Abreu left to right. Rolen, Relaford, Jordan, and Brony in the infield, and a battery of Mike Lieberthal and Mark Portugal. The ERA up there, and this is 8th start. He pitched against the Cubs in Philadelphia, went into the 8th inning. He had 4 earned runs.
One of them a home run to Brant Brown. In fact, that was Brant's last homer, June 13th. And Brant was 7 homers, 25 batted in, hitting .296 on the year.
You have to wait back for the changeup of Portugal. That's one of his best pitches career-wise. He is 9-5 against the Cubs with a .357 ERA. However, at Wrigley Field, a different story. 4-5 with a .492 ERA.
1 ball, 1 strike to Brown. It's in the dirt. Well, every time the Phillies come a-calling, you remember that 23-22 game, the slugfest. Today, with the wind blowing out, we might have one of those again today.
It's a very similar day. It's a very lively ballpark today, especially the hottest day we've had at the park in a while, and the ball is jumping.
2 balls and a strike. It's now 3-1. A walk would be nice. That's something Portugal doesn't do much. He's only walked 6 men in 43 innings this year.
Well, you figure you're going to get a good pitch to hit here. It's going to be a fastball.
3-2.
Portugal, however, has yielded a whopping 11 home runs in 43 2/3 innings.
The payoff pitch is swung on, belted straight away center. Back goes Glanville. He'll turn around and say sayonara. Fasten your seatbelts, folks. We might have a wacky game today. It's 4-1.
8th home run, 26 driven in, and Portugal has yielded his 12th home run, and not much doubt about that. Hit into the shrubbery, and it's a 3-run deficit.
Here's Mickey Morandini. He swings and misses. Morandini at .320 on the year. That's squibbed foul. And another look at the Brant Brown blast.
It's a 3-2 fastball, and it's right there in the wheelhouse. Brant Brown takes it all the way, and for Southwest Airlines, it flew 400 happy feet.
I like the way you say that. The pitch. Look out, folks. There goes the bat. And one of the ushers defended one of the fans, but not well enough. It caught her right in the leg.
She got a leg burger for her efforts, and I thought it might have hit off the concessionaire's little tray there, but no such luck.
Morandini gets a new bat, and as he looks over at the Philly dugout, making sure everybody's okay.
From our special bat flying Southwest Airlines plain view camera, Mickey Morandini loses the handle.
And look how far he's choked up against Portugal. Fly ball to left. Jeffries puts it away, and there's out number one. Well, here's Sammy Sosa. A day like today, you'd like to think the sluggers are salivating at their chances in that batter's box. Sammy hit number 25 yesterday.
Well, how about 16 home runs in 18 games? And Sammy with a legitimate shot at setting the all-time record for home runs in the month of June. And with a day like today, he is 4 short of that mark. It just might happen.
There is a chance, no doubt about it. Sosa hitting .333s in the top 10 in all 3 power categories in the National League. Homers, RBIs, and average. And there is Sammy Sosa chasing some immortals in baseball and Cubs history.
You're right. Bob Johnson was something.
Oh, he was huge. He was huge.
And Ryan Sandberg will be conducting Take Me Out to the Ball Game. So look for that in the middle of the 7th. Be good to see Rhino back.
2 balls, no strikes. It's 2-1. Sosa with a home run lifetime against Portugal. He is 6 for 22 in his career, a .273 average. There's Mr. Sandberg. He'll be up, as Steve mentioned, in the 7th.
Looking very relaxed today.
2-1 pitch hit in the air toward right. He got off on the front foot, and Abreu puts him away for out number 2.
You can see why Portugal gives up a lot of home runs, and that's because he's a fly ball pitcher. It probably won't affect him quite as much in Philadelphia as it will here today at Wrigley Field.
So Mark Grace a chance to add to the Cubs total. It's 4-1 in favor of the Phillies. Brad Brown led the game off with a solo home run. Grace second in the National League at .347. Behind John Olerud of the Mets, Jason Kendall tied with Gracie, then Gwynn and Dante Bichette. Bichette and Doug Glanville already with 100 hits in the National League this year.
And how about Jason Kendall? When you see catchers up among the league leaders in hitting, that is quite an accomplishment.
Grace checks his swing. 2 balls and a strike. Mark Grace and Sammy Sosa also looking to join the century mark in hits in the not too distant future. 2-1 pitch popped him up. Grace unhappy as Rowland and Relaford converge. It'll be the shortstop. Relaford puts it away, and the Cubs retired in the 1st. 1 run, 1 hit. Brant Brown's solo blast makes it 4-1 Phillies. It's 4-1 after 1. And now Portugal, Glanville, and Jeffries will battle Jeremy Gonzalez, who was in the strike zone in great shape. Threw 24 pitches in the 1st inning, 20 for strikes, but he gave up 4 runs on 5 hits.
Be careful with Portugal, because he is one of the better hitting pitchers in the league. So before you just lay one into him, be appraised. He can smoke it.
He's got 3 hits on the year, all of them doubles. A .273 average, and Jeremy misses with ball 1.
Of course, of his career, that's pretty impressive. Anytime you're knocking at the door at 200, you can swing the bat.
1 ball, 1 strike. A very hot, sticky day. Pitch count will be important for both of these hurlers.
We'd like to welcome the graduates from the Franklin Fine Arts Center, class of 1998, hosted by Bridget Campbell. They're at the park today.
2-2. Cubs second baseman Mickey Morandini wants to send along happy birthday wishes to his grandmother Helen Moore, 85 years young today. So happy birthday, Helen. The 2-2 is fouled back into the seats, and a fight for the loose baseball is won by a gentleman in a very sweaty green tank top.
But he hands it to his son, so he's made a very happy young Cub fan.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Up the middle, Morandini to his right, handles, makes the pitcher run down to first, and Portugal retired to open up the second inning. As Steve mentioned, the Cubs 3 games back in the Central at 40 and 30. Right now, the Giants would be the wild card team. They're 3.5 games behind San Diego out west. The Padres have won 9 in a row now. Atlanta leads the Mets by 8.5 games with a 49-22 record in the National League East. And Doug Glanville 0 for 1 takes low. Third base coach John Vukovich of the Phillies, former coach with the Cubs.
Also have Chuck Cartier over there, another former Cub coach.
That's right through there. 1-1. Glanville trying to become the first Philly since Pete Rose in 1979 to register 200 or more hits. He's halfway there. It's 2-1. Let's see who's cleaning up in baseball. We look at our longest hit streaks this year in the National League.
Larry Walker and Doug Glanville twice, but the 17-game streak is current.
He should bounce out for the second time to second base, and he does. 2 up, 2 down. Let's see if Jeremy can retire Jeffries and get the easy 1-2-3 second inning here. Well, the Padres just keep rolling along. They won a 12-inning game yesterday. Beat the Dodgers 3-2. Greg Vaughn is having a remarkable comeback season for those Padres. Went 3 for 5 last night. He's over 20 home runs already this year for San Diego.
Not bad.
He's doing great. And Jeffries takes strike 1 here.
And he's had to do it because of the various injuries to a lot of the members of the Padres. Ken Caminiti really isn't 100%. It's shown in his production, but he's still such a tough guy that he plays just about every day regardless of being banged up. And Tony Gwynn's been in and out of the lineup. And there is the fine manager, Terry Francona. Done a nice job with this team.
Chop foul. Yeah, you're right about Ken Caminiti. Just give him a Snickers bar. If he's got an injury, just hand him the candy bar and he'll go out and perform the superhuman feat. I can't believe he hasn't done a commercial for those folks either after that effort down in Mexico. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Greg Jeffries. He popped out to third his first time up. Wind blowing out at the ballpark. It's hot, it's muggy, and the Cubs are down 3 runs. Morandini on 1 hop almost overran that ball, but makes the play and has 3 assists in the second inning, tying a major league record held by oh so many. 4-1 after 1.5 here at Wrigley. On our score in favor of the Phillies as Henry Rodriguez leads off inning number 2 for the Cubs. Cubs hoping this guy will get going. Henry still hovering around the 220 mark with the batting average. 12 homers, 38 runs are batted in. That ball hit hard but caught. Jordan robs him of a hit here in the second inning.
This ball's hit right on the button, but Kevin Jordan goes up high, times his leap perfectly, and hauls it in. And one of the hottest members of this ball club now looking out at Mark Portugal.
Here's Jose Hernandez. This guy has been awesome. Last 15 games, 5 homers, 15 runs batted in, and a hefty .358 batting average. There's a drive. Deep toward left. Jeffries turns and admires it. Oh, baby, he is hot on a hot day.
There's a long way to go in this one, and the Cubs have a lot more power than these Phillies. And Jose deposits number 11, RBI number 35, out onto Waveland, and it's a 4-2 game. That was a slider out over the plate, and Jose just turned on it and crushed it.
So the lead cut in half. It's 4-2. And here's Blauser.
Blauser's had pretty good luck against Mark Portugal. This might be a good day for him to break out of it.
He looks at a strike on the outside edge. Boy, oh boy, Jose. 2 two-run homers yesterday. A solo shot today. Man, oh man. High to Jeff, 2-1. Every player wants a chance to play every day, and when you perform, you get rewarded.
Well, this one middle in, and Jose just gets every bit of it. And for Southwest Airlines, how far did it fly? 440. Very happy feet.
That was a massive blast.
Well, if you miss middle in to Jose these days, you are asking for a long home run.
3 balls and a strike to Jeff, and the count full now. 3-2. In case Jeff's grandfather missed it, he wanted to pass along happy birthday wishes again. Harry Blauser watching in Branson, Missouri today. And now Jeff asks for and receives time. Cubs are going to have themselves quite a dilemma at third base. As Jeff takes ball 4, Blauser walks for the 36th time this year. And Portugal doesn't give up many of those. Most guys hit their way on or out against him. But Kevin Ory's hitting everything in sight down in AAA. Manny and Jose have been great at third base with the Cubs. But that's a good problem to have.
Good problem if you're not Kevin Ory. But a difficult situation because he's doing the best he can down there and getting his at-bats. Right now, Jose is one of the hottest hitters in baseball.
So Scott Service, the hitter, with 1 man out. He sends a drive toward right. Abreu charges in, makes the grab. And Service, who hit the ball hard, is retired for out number 2. Cubs fans, tomorrow, June 19th, Budweiser Floppy Hat Day at the ballpark. The first 10,000 adults 21 and older attending the Cubs-Phillies game get the fan favorite floppy hat. Compliments of Budweiser. 312-831-Cubs is your ticket number to dial, and that's what the floppy hat looks like, and it would have come in handy today. A hot, scorching afternoon of baseball. Jeremy Gonzalez lays down a bunt. Portugal drops it, kicks it. Everybody's safe.
I don't think there was any reason to try to barehand that for Portugal. It cost him a base hit, and it'll bring Brant Brown to the plate. And Portugal very unhappy with himself. He had some time, but he tried to barehand it. And if you're not Ray Ordonez or Omar Vizquel, this becomes a tough play. From the left field camera, we'll take a look at a misplay and a base hit.
So a hit for Jeremy, just his 3rd of the year, but it turns the lineup over and brings Brant Brown to the dish with the tying runs already on base. It's 4-2 in favor of the Phillies. The Cubs owe these guys a humiliating defeat. These Phillies have been terrific against the Cubs. They swept 2 from the Cubs last month here in Chicago, then beat us twice in 3 tries in Philly just a couple of days ago.
Now the wind is blowing out even harder as a lot of storm clouds in the area, and it's blowing straight out.
No balls and a strike. 2 are on, 2 are out. And he lays off. So Brant Brown, his last 2 home runs have come against Mark Portugal. Another one here would give the Cubs the lead. Jose Hernandez, the other man to go deep for the Cubs today.
Brant would love to see a low fastball, and he could put the Cubs on top.
1 ball, 1 strike. Bouncing ball left side and through. That's a hit. Here comes Blauser around third. He'll score without a throw. It's 4-3. Brown 2 for 2 with 2 runs batted in.
RBI 27 as Brant Brown goes inside out on this high fastball. And Relaford can't get to it. He was playing him up the middle and could not keep it in the infield. So the Cubs have fought their way back in this one. They trail by just a run.
First and second, 2 outs, 4-3 now. And Morandini the batter. Mickey flying to left his first time up. And the change, he took it for strike 1.
Morandini's been a very good hitter against Portugal. .350 lifetime coming in with a couple of home runs.
Gonzalez the runner at second. Brown leads from first. The pitch. He went around again. It's 0-2. Last at bat, Mickey lost the handle on the bat. Haven't seen him fooled like that all year. And the ominous clouds continue to approach. There was a 50-50 chance of thunder showers at game's start today. The pitch misses for ball 1. Hopefully they'll stay away with those ominous weather conditions until we can get an official game in here. 1-2 the count. Pulled to the right side, and Jordan will field and flip to first in time to retire the side, but the Cubs pick up 2 runs on 3 hits. Jose Hernandez hits his 11th homer of the year, and it's now a 1-run game after 2. Pepsi and the ice cream concession today at Wrigley Field. A hot, sticky afternoon. 4-3 our score. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN, Chicago.
A 1-2-3 inning worked by Jeremy Gonzalez in the second inning. He looks for the same here in the third as Scott Rowland greets him for the Phillies. He crushed his 14th home run of the year, his first time up, and that ball was up in the zone and he missed it. Rowland, a huge disparity between his average at home and his average on the road. He's a .360 hitter in Philadelphia, a .230 hitter on the road. That's a big swing. But on the year, the man hitting .302. 1-2. As always, we eagerly await our oncoming deluge of emails today. Already a couple in the inbox that we'll get to in a little bit for the good doctor sitting to my right. The 1-2 is outside 2-2. Atlanta leading the Marlins 2-1. Javier Lopez continues his hot hitting for the Braves.
Greg Maddux won his 10th last night.
Tom Glavine tries to do the same today for the Bravos against Ryan Dempster, who's 0-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, bases empty. It's a 4-3 game in favor of the Fighting Phillies. Strike 3 called, and Rowland knew it. Good pitch from Jeremy that time.
Jeremy surprised Rowland here. He went with the curveball. It just kind of floats right down the middle, and Rowland takes a seat.
So Rico Brogna now stands in. Brogna singled and scored one of the 4 Philly runs in the first inning. And that pitch misses, ball 1. We got to figure out a way to get this guy out.
Brogna and Abreu both.
High drive into right center field. He got under it. Brant Brown hauls it in, 2 down. 6 straight have been retired by Gonzalez after that 4-run first. And now Mike Lieberthal, the catcher, hits. He has singled and scored in the game.
Well, you'd like to see the inning end here with Lieberthal because the man on deck is 5 for 6 lifetime against Jeremy Gonzalez.
But as you would say, that's deceiving.
Yes.
Abreu's got a couple of brothers who play in the Cubs minor league system. Hope they turn out to be as good a player as he is for the Phillies. 1-1 to Lieberthal, the Philadelphia backstop. He missed outside. 2 balls and a strike.
Both these pitching staffs are strikeout staffs. The Phillies lead and the Cubs fourth.
Well, when you have guys like Kurt Schilling and Kerry Wood anchoring your staff, that's no surprise. 2-2. Lieberthal stays alive. Once again, here comes the 2-2. Boy, he just missed. And it's now 3-2. Dale and Melinda Frame want to send along happy anniversary wishes to Dale's grandparents, Charles and Dorothy Schaff. They're watching the game down in Florida today. Dale lives in Lansing, Michigan. And Jeremy strikes out Lieberthal and ends the Philly third. It's 4-3 after 2.5. For the ballpark yesterday, our Discover Card playback today takes us back to his first Major League 2-homer game, August 31st, 1995 against Florida. Jose started with a solo shot, then went long ball again off the Marlins' Buddy Groom for a grand slam and career-high 5 RBI night, leading the Cubs to a 12-3 romp. Jose Hernandez's first big league 2-homer game, today's Discover Card playback. Sammy Sosa leads off the Cub third. How about Jose? Yes, indeed. He's halfway to perhaps another multi-home run game. He crushed a solo job in the second inning. He's due up fourth here in the third. It's a 4-3 Philadelphia affair. It's 2-0.
Portugal doesn't have enough today to continue to fall behind and get out the Cub hitters.
The 2-0. Fisted into shallow left center field. Can Relaford catch up? Yes, he can. 1 up, 1 down here in the third. As Steve mentioned, Ryne Sandberg will be today's guest conductor of the 7th inning stretch. On Saturday, Chris Chelios is scheduled to perform. Sunday, June 21st, Jimmy Buffett is scheduled to appear. Wonder if they'll be serving cheeseburgers just in his honor. Steve Kerr, Ron Harper, Monday and then Tuesday, respectively. From the 6-time world champion Chicago Bulls. Here's Mark Grace. He looks at ball 1. You'd think Grace would be a guy that would feast on a guy like Portugal, but in his career, Mark hitting just .213 against him.
He's been stuck on 42 runs batted in for a while. Today might be a nice day to break out of it.
Three balls, no strikes. Hope my dad's feeling better down in Atlanta, recovering from his bad back. Get well soon, Pops. Miss watching you on the tube at night. The 3-0 is over for a strike, 3-1. But I'm sure he's taking up backgammon.
Yes, and backpacking.
Swung on, line drive up the middle, base hit by Grace. Fifth hit already for the Cubs, and we're in the third.
Portugal continues to fall behind. It's going to be a short day for him. It's the off-speed pitch, but it's up and out over the plate, and Mark Grace waits nicely and takes it right back up the middle. Doug Glanville, Mark Grace, along with Bichette, Renteria, and Kendall, the National League leaders in singles.
Henry sends a drive deep right center field, and the Cubs have the lead.
Portugal's given up 14 home runs in now 46 innings. And that is an astronomical total. You throw fly balls today, you've got some problems. And the O. Henry Bars finally reemerge at the ballpark as Henry's driven in his 39th and 40th runs. And the Cubs have recaptured the lead. Good extension. Henry gets every bit of it. And it's long gone.
His first homer since June 1st against Ryan Dempster. And the Cubs have a 1-run lead for Jose Hernandez. Jose with 6 homers, 16 runs batted in, 5 doubles, 3 triples in his last 16 games.
For Southwest Airlines, how far did it fly? 415 game leading feet.
Well, you knew after he hit that ball so well in the second inning that he was seeing Portugal very well. He was robbed by Jordan, who made a leaping catch. And he didn't waste any time jumping on the first offering here in the Cubs half of the third inning. A 5-4 Cub lead. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Jose Hernandez. Full count now, 3-2. We may be here a while today. This is a hitter's delight. And he stays alive, 3-2. I would imagine, Steve, you pitched on days like this at Wrigley Field. Do they have to drag you kicking and screaming to the mound?
I gave up 5 solo home runs here in 2 1/3 innings one day. That was a lot of fun.
Strike 3 called. Jose didn't think so, but Portugal has his second out of the inning.
It's a fastball, and it's low. But Jerry Davis thought it was good enough, and Jose is called out on strikes.
Jeff Blauser stands in, hits a fly pop into right that Abreu corrals, and the inning is over. But 2 runs, 2 hits. Henry Rodriguez hit his 13th homer, and the Cubs have a 5-4 lead. There's Matt Mieske, and he's the subject of our first terrific email today. Juan Carlos Lopez watching the game today from Guadalajara, Mexico. Juan Carlos thinks that Matt Mieske's clone is the actor Tom Selleck.
He's about half of Tom Selleck, who's a fairly nice sized fellow at about 6'4½". Matt just a little shorter. But facially, they both have mustaches.
And that doesn't make him a bad person. Here's Abreu, who leads off the 4th inning and takes ball 1. He's 1 for 1 with a 2-run scoring double back in the 4-run Philly first. But Jeremy Gonzalez has always been the recipient of pretty good run support. He's gotten it today. And the count evens at 1-1. He's retired 7 straight after that 5-hit 4-run first.
I'm not sure if the Phillies knew what to do when they broke on top by 4. They've been playing from behind so well during the course of this latest streak.
Ground ball to second. Mickey's been busy today. And the leadoff man retired. That's 8 in a row. You're right. Phillies 22 comeback wins. 7 times they've come back from 4 or more runs. Twice by 6. Once by 7. That was just the other day. You can't count these guys out, no matter the lead, and especially on a day like today at the ballpark as the lights have come on.
Although Jeremy has started to get the ball down, he's changed speed well, and he's throwing a lot of ground balls.
And Kevin Jordan takes strike 1. And Jordan singled home the 4th and final Philadelphia run. That's downstairs. The Fredericks family is watching today from Modesto, California. Their 7-year-old Patrick is a big Cubs fan, reads the box scores every day. So if they're enjoying things out in sunny California.
I played against the Modesto team in the California League. They were then the St. Louis Cardinals Class A entry into that Cal League. Al Roboski was a pitching opponent of mine, the Mad Hungarian.
1-2. Line toward right. Sammy on the run, now slowing down. He's there, 2 away. 9 in a row have been retired by Gonzalez. Did the Mad Hungarian have the major league mustache then, or was it only a minor league Fu Manchu?
It was a minor league, and he was a starting pitcher. And a pretty good one for becoming a premier closer in the major leagues.
Yeah, he was nasty. He had great stuff. I remember watching him growing up a schoolboy in St. Louis. Mad Hungarian. Here's Relaford with 2 outs and the base is clear. Happy 72nd birthday to Bud Prulidge. Watching the game in Henrietta, Oklahoma. Never been to Henrietta, Oklahoma. Never been to Henry, Oklahoma either, if there is such a place. Foul back. It's 0-2.
Relaford's been a better hitter from the right side this year, but he's been a more powerful hitter from the left side.
And 16-year-old Zachary Lund from Dowagiac, Michigan is watching the game tonight, or today if you will. On WGN, the 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Look out, folks, almost picked off the bat boy. Relaford is retired. 10 in a row have gone by the boards for the Phillies, and the Cubs lead still 5-4. It's 0-2 to Scott. Tony Galvin watching the game today in Moline, Illinois, says he notices a knee brace being worn by Portugal. Has he had knee trouble, Steve?
He's wearing a knee brace. I'd say yes. Pretty insightful, huh?
Well, that's why you're the best in the business. That's how you get to be Nostradamus up here. I did not notice him wearing that knee brace. Breaking ball, service. That might be a tough play. Rolling in, up, over to first. Dug out over there beautifully. What a play at both ends.
Scott was taking that headfirst dive, and that's a good way to get injured. He tried to beat it out, but a fine play by Scott Rowland. This is one you had to use the bare hand pickup. He does it very well, and a good pickup on the other end by Rico Bronya. Scott's smelling a base hit, but they've got other ideas. Bronya's been terrific at first base, just 2 errors this year, and a great effort. Picks it clean. The headfirst dive, not something you'd advise.
Jeremy Gonzalez, the hitter, he singled back in the second inning. That turned out to be a big play for Brant Brown, then followed with an RBI scoring single himself to make it a 4-3 game. 0-2 to Jeremy. Steve, the Hicks family's watching the game today.
Yes.
Jonathan, Andrew, and Tyler Hicks want to know if their massive collection of Steve Stone trading cards are a good investment for future college educations. A line drive hit in the air toward left. Back goes Jeffries. He plays it off the fence. Jeremy's going to try for 2. Here comes a throw, and he is going to be OUT out.
Well, I think Jeremy had some visions of Ricky Henderson there. This ball is rocketed against the gate. Unfortunately, it goes right back to Jeffries. Not known for a great arm, but you got to credit the hustle, if not the decision, on Jeremy Gonzalez as he gets one up. And this one is rocketed against the door. Jeffries on one hop. Will not get many assists this year, but he has one here. The ball is waiting there for Jeremy to arrive, and he is toast at second. And as far as the trading cards is concerned, they have little value now, and they're going down.
So sell, sell, sell.
Yes, I don't think that I would use them as a retirement fund project.
Brad Brown's 2 for 2. The other question they had was much more baseball oriented. Explain the difference between a slider and a curveball.
it's really the spin, and a curveball, the spin is mostly over the top and breaks down. A slider is thrown a lot harder. The spin is more side spin, and that's a home run.
Brant Brown drills that baby deep out of here. He's 3 for 3. He almost hit that ball to Portugal.
4 home runs already in 3 2/3 innings. And Mark Portugal continues to get the ball up, and the Cubs continue to hit it out. This one is out over the plate, and Brant Brown turns on it. And in 4 innings, Brant Brown has driven in 3, and he's 3 for 3 with a couple of home runs.
So Morandini is the hitter with 2 outs. Well, as Yogi Berra might say, it's kind of deja vu all over again for Brant Brown. During a doubleheader in Los Angeles, June 18th of '96, Brant Brown in his 3rd and 4th big league games went 4 for 6 with his first 3 major league home runs. Morandini pops that down the right field line. A long run for Abreu. He's under. He's got it. So for Brown, it's pretty simple. Every day is June 18th. And so far, so good for the Cubs, who lead it 6-4 after 4.
That knee brace, Mark Portugal had a torn ACL in his right knee. Had surgery August 6th of 1994.
He grounds that ball to the left side. Blauser handles the odd hop. And the pitcher retired very easily, as Jeremy has settled in. 11 men in a row have gone by the boards for the Phillies. Now to the top of the order we go. This is where it gets a little more difficult. Glanville, Jeffries, and Rowland. However, Glanville and Jeffries are 0 for 4 and haven't hit the ball out of the infield yet. That's not like them, especially against the Cubs this year. Glanville came in hitting .478 against Cub pitching. Jeffries .318. Hits. Blauser should handle this one. Perhaps it gives way to Henry.
Shows you how hard the wind is blowing out today, and Henry kept on coming and made the play. Jeff is calling, saying I have it, but had very little chance for it, and they avoid a nasty collision. Good play by Henry Rodriguez.
And a break, too. He could have been spiked by Blauser on that play, but he appears to be all right. So 12 straight retired. Here's Jeffries with 2 outs in the 5th. And Jeremy misses with ball 1.
And 1 more out, and it will be an official game. And then you don't have to worry quite as much about the rains.
Popped up. Will it reach the seats? Jose gives chase, and it will. Christopher Barboa watching the game in Springfield, Missouri today. Big Ryan Sandberg fan. He's looking forward to hearing him lead the 7th inning stretch. Now we've got the clone game going. Rob Woodling from Creighton University in Omaha, Nebraska, says if Matt Mieske looks like Tom Selleck, then Jeff Blauser is a shoo-in for Colin Montgomery.
One of the favorites at the U.S. Open.
Again, maybe 1/2 of Colin Montgomery. The pitch popped up. Easy play at third. Jose Hernandez is under. He's got it. And another 1, 2, 3 inning. 13 retired in a row by Gonzalez. Jeff Blauser doing a Colin Montgomery-like chase after that fly ball. He yells 4. It's Sosa leads it off for the Cubs against Mark Portugal, who has already given up 4 home runs on the day. With Dr. Download Steve Stone, Chip Carey, the wind blowing out, and the hitters are loving life in today's ball game.
Portugal's made some mistakes, and every time he has, the Cubs have made him pay. So they had an early deficit, but there was a long way to go in this one, and still a long way to go. This is going to be an exciting game.
Jeremy Gonzalez gave up 4 first-inning runs, but since has righted the ship. And Portugal gets Sosa on a comebacker for out number 1. One out in the 6th. Or I should say in the bottom of the 5th for the Cubs. The 6th is after the 5th, Chip. And here's Mark Grace. Grace has singled and popped out and has scored one of the Cubs' 6 runs, 6-4 ball game here at Wrigley Field. Grace without an RBI in his last 15 games. He's stuck on 42 with 7 home runs. It's 1-1. Tough day for Casey Michaelek today. Had 4 wisdom teeth pulled today. Yeesh. Hang in there, kid. Watching the ball game today.
Well, he'll look a bit like a chipmunk for a while, but then everything will work itself out.
Well, you hope. 2 balls and a strike. You must have all of your wisdom teeth. That's why you're so smart.
Unfortunately, haven't had to have any removed yet. That's not a pleasant experience.
3 balls and a strike. Grace out in front. Bounces that into the Philly dugout. 3-2 is your count. Keely Siegel, 16 years old today, watching the ball game. The wonder of email. Got him. There's that changeup. And look at Grace. He walks away smiling. He knew it was coming, but he couldn't stop.
Just couldn't wait long enough. He waited and waited and waited. Finally swung at it and still couldn't get it. Well, you don't see Grace strike out much, but it's a good straight change. This one just floating away, and he gets him.
Henry hit a long 2-run homer to right. Back in the 3rd inning, that put the Cubs in front. At that point, 5-4. It's now 6-4 in favor of the Cubs, who have gotten 2 home runs from Brant Brown, 1 from Henry, 1 from Jose Hernandez. That's on the ground to the right side, and Portugal gets a much-needed 1-2-3 5th inning. On we go to the 6th. It's the Cubs leading by 2. After 5 innings of play here at the Friendly Confines, Friends Sunday, June 21st, is the Cubs family game, sponsored by Anderson Consulting. Get to the ballpark early to enjoy our unique event as Cubs players, coaches, and their families play a mock game of baseball. Arnie Harris, the special kids hitting coach for that game, so there's a good chance of seeing an historic no-hitter in that game. And to see it, stop by the Wrigley Field box office or call 312-831-CUBS. And again, the ice cream and Pepsi concessions going great guns today at Wrigley. A hot, muggy afternoon for baseball. The Cubs were down 4 early. Scored in the first 4 innings to take a 6-4 lead, but now it gets tougher in the 6th. As Scott Rowland rifles the ball up the middle under the glove of Blauser. And now he hustles into second and makes it on a slide. A hustle double for Rowland, who never stopped running.
Well, that's the disadvantage of playing deep and knowing you got some very heavy outfield grass, and Rowland took advantage of the heavy grass by never taking a single for granted. It scoots by Blauser, but with that heavy outfield grass, the ball almost comes to a stop. Brant Brown playing very deep in center field, can't get it to second base in time, and a heads-up play by Scott Rowland.
His 16th double of the year brings the potential tying run to the plate Enrico Brogna, who has murdered the Cubs all year. And he flirts with extra bases that time and scatters the Philadelphia bullpen. Game 1 of 4 against the Fighting Phils here at Wrigley Field. Another afternoon game tomorrow, 2:20 start as Mark Clark faces Carlton Lower. Then a night game Saturday. Wayne Larrivee will sit in for me with Steve Stone. Then Sunday, Steve Traxel, Tyler Green. The 0-1 pitch. 0-2.
It's a good spot to keep it on Brogna. You throw it up and out of the zone. That's the matchups. Every game on WGN as we take you through the weekend. And then the Indians come to town to finish off the homestand. And there are seats available for all of those games.
No balls, 2 strikes. Rowland leads at second. The pitch is cut on. It hit the bag fair down the right field line. Rowland rounds third. He's going to score. Taking a chance on second is Brogna, and he is retired, but he does get the RBI. Another hit on an 0-2 pitch. Single RBI, 9-6 on the putout, and it's now a 1-run game.
RBI 56, and a great play by Sammy Sosa as he throws a strike to cut down Rico Bronya. Bronya has good speed, but not that good, and the ball is waiting for him to arrive.
So the base is clear with 1 out, but the Phillies have made it 6-5 here in the 6th. And Mike Lieberthal, the catcher, digs in. And now the Philadelphia bullpen starts to get busy.
Well, it's a very warm day, and Portugal has a lot of pitches. He also has averaged 6 innings per start in his previous outings.
Foul back, 1-2. Gonzalez, after that 4-run 5-hit first, then set down 13 straight men before giving up the double and the single here in the 6th. He seeks his 6th victory of the year. Well, the Cubs try to win their 2nd against the Phillies this year. It's 2-2. Abreu waits next. Popped him up. The wind plays tricks with that one, but Mickey handles it. And there's out number 2. Well, as we check the email once again, Maggie Liebschutz from Polson, Montana has a question for you, Steve. They'll be attending the Cubs game June 30th, scheduled as 70s night. Maggie wants to know, what exactly does 70s night mean? Do they get something at the entrance, or are people dressing up, or what? Maggie's just a little curious.
People are dressing up, and you can win round-trip tickets on Southwest Airlines and 70s autographed paraphernalia. Sister Sledge will be here.
Abreu rifles that foul out of play.
And there'll be a lot of very unusual garb here that evening.
I just want to know, how deep in the closet did you have to go? And be honest, because I'll know.
We'll have our clothing supplied by the fine marketing department.
Thank goodness. The 0-1. It's 0-2. That's as bad as it gets, folks.
That's what Chip will look like. I'm not sure if I will break out the white suit or not, but we'll have to see what happens.
Oh, that'll be fun. Wonder if our buddy Tom Brenneman and Bob Brenly will cooperate and dress in the 70s garb when the D-backs come a call.
Tom does that on a regular basis. I'm not sure about Bob.
Oh, you don't want to start that with Tom, do you? I'd like to see Buck Showalter show up in the bell-bottom blues. But it should be fun. June 30th here at the ballpark. 0-2 to Abreu. 1-2 now. Jerry Spradlin getting ready. Should the inning continue? Maybe coming on anyway, as Portugal has worked a heavy workload today. The 1-2 pitch evens the count. I know you and Tom had the bow tie Tuesday, right?
We did that for a bit.
Never got around to the broadcaster calendar, though, huh?
Nah, that one never quite came to fruition.
Lack of demand, I would assume. The pitch, swing and a miss. And that retires the side. While Steve ponders his comeback, we'll head to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's now a 1-run game.
The 6 home runs, including his blast today, and that's a ComEd Power Profile.
Oh, he got a pitch right down the middle and couldn't hit it. 1-2.
The Phillies have added one more player since we've seen them last. That's Yorkis Perez, and that could be him loosening up in the pen.
Hit hard to the shortstop. Relaford glides to his left, and a good stretch at first by Bronya to retire Jose at first.
I would think one way or the other this would probably be it for Portugal, as he's due up third in the 7th, and there is Yorkis Perez.
So Blauser, the hitter, is walked and flied out to right. And our senior producer director of Cubs baseball is Artie Harris. Today's game produced by the commander Pete Toma. Our associate producer is John Walgren. Kim Fields, the coordinating producer. Our executive producer of WGN Sports is Bob Vorwald, and Kathy Kerr helping us out in the booth today. Line drive off the bat of Blauser up the middle for a hit. So Jeff aboard with his first hit of the day. A one-out single into center, and now Scott Service takes his turn. That is a real Cub fan on the right. Guy on the left looks a bit like Dennis Franz. Just a little bit, not a lot. Just enough to make the comparison.
Mark Peixoto getting loosened up in the bullpen.
A one-run lead on a blustery day like today does not give a manager all that much comfort.
And there's a look at Peixoto.
So if Service could reach, you would imagine he might pinch hit for Gonzalez and try to break the game open here in the Cubs half of the sixth. Once again, Ryne Sandberg will be along for the bottom of the seventh inning after he conducts the seventh inning stretch. Marlins are beating Atlanta now 3-2 as they go to the top of the ninth inning. Marlins got 2 in the eighth. Arizona beat Cincinnati today 4-2. All the other National League Baseball is later. In the American League, Texas 3, Oakland 2 in the bottom of the fourth at the ballpark of Arlington.
This is the same combination with Blauser and Service, where you want to stay out of the double play, where Jim Riggleman has used the hit and run pretty well.
Hitters pitch here, 2 balls, no strikes. Blauser is going. The pitch cut on, served into right center field. Glanville gallops over, puts it away. Out number 2 as Blauser back to first. So 2 down, and now Gonzalez hits for himself. And friends, you're looking for a great Father's Day gift? Treat your dad to Vineline, the Cubs monthly newspaper. Vineline provides a year-round package of Cubs coverage for fans nationwide. Gift subscriptions start at just $19.95. All 2-year subscribers receive a free copy of the Ryne Sandberg Day program. 773-404 Cubs is the number 2 call. Jeremy Gonzalez 2 for 2 today. He had 2 hits all season long. Has a pretty good cut there.
Well, you can bet that if Jeremy can somehow reach base, Portugal probably will not be facing Brand Brown. Brown has just murdered him today, and Perez is ready in the pen.
Brandt's 3 for 3, 2 homers and 3 runs batted in. Jeremy sends a drive toward left. Back goes Jeffries at the track, leaps up, misplays it. Here comes Blauser around third. He will score. It's a 2-run game, and Gonzalez is 3 for 3 and has his second RBI of the year.
I don't think Jeffries realized where he was, and he really played this one poorly. So this one will knock Portugal from the mound as Jeffries drifts under this ball, and then you see him here. Instead of going back to the wall, he slows down here and then leaps up short of the track. Terribly played. It gets the Cubs a run and knocks Portugal from the mound.
Jeremy Gonzalez 3 for 3. The last Cub pitcher with 3 hits in a game, Greg Maddux, August 1st of '93, and Gonzalez gives the Cubs another 2-run lead as Perez comes on to face Brown in the Cubs' 6th. He's left-handed, so how do you know if he's just being left-handed or just being a Perez?
Well, it's Yorkis in this case, on for the 12th time, just back off the disabled list with a 3.14 ERA. And the first man he's going to look at is red-hot Brant Brown. Jeremy has been right in the middle of everything offensively today. And he gave himself a little cushion. Now they're making him take off his medal. And Jeffries slowed down, then leaped when he was 10 feet short of the wall. And it cost him a run.
So Perez is shed of his Mr. T starter kit out there, and now he goes to work. Lefty against lefty. Brown 3 for 3 today. Off the end of the bat towards short. Relaford kicks it. Oh, what a play by Gonzalez to shield him as that ball skidded toward him at short.
Goes as an error. That's going to be the 11th on Relaford. And Jeremy hesitated, but Relaford still had a clear shot at this one. From the left field camera, take a look at a play that should have been made. It squibbed off the end of the bat. Jeremy stops for an instant, but right there you can see he's got plenty of time to make a clear play. He just doesn't make it. But the inning stays alive for Mickey Morandini.
So Morandini stands in 0 for 3. Mickey in a bit of a skid. He's 6 for his last 33. So runners at the corners now with 2 outs. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error so far for the Cubs in the 6th. One and one. Toby Borland getting ready should Perez encounter further difficulty here as Sammy Sosa waits on deck.
Toby's getting ready for Sammy if his inning is still alive.
And it very nearly was. But the count now 1-2. Seven runs on 10 hits by the Cubs today. The runner at first, Brown, goes. Morandini swings, bounces to the shortstop. Relaford sure-handedly fields that ball and retires Morandini and the Cubs here in the 6th. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error. And as we head to the 7th inning, it's a 2-run Cub lead of Wrigley Field. Jeremy Gonzalez facing the lower third of the Philadelphia order. A hot, muggy day at the ballpark, but a good crowd on hand to watch the Cubs and Phillies open up this 4-game series. Big day today. The Cubs wives will be hosting the big get-together over at Harry Carey's restaurant from 7 till 9 o'clock. A lot of great items up for auction. Many of the Cubs players and coaches will be there. Lots of staff too, including Dr. Download Steve Stone. Yours truly will be there also at Dearborn and Kinsey tonight. And also the Museum of Broadcasting will be having a seminar from 5:30 until 8 o'clock. Arnie Harris will be there delivering the eulogy today, so you won't want to miss that. Hot shot to left off the bat of Jordan. Leadoff single here in the 7th.
I would think you'd want to watch Jeremy closely. He's run the bases quite a bit, has a lot of pitches, and you know they're going to use a pinch hitter for Perez.
So the leadoff man aboard here in the 7th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN, Chicago.
With Dr. Download Steve Stone, Chip Carey at the ballpark. The Phillies have the leadoff man aboard here, and Phil Regan on his way out as Mark Pachota gets up once again and starts to limber up in the Cub bullpen. While they continue to chat, happy birthday wishes, Steve, to Helen Gerard, our TD Jerry Gerard's mom. So happy birthday, Helen, and many happy returns.
Get Ruben Amaro Jr. in the on-deck circle. He's going to come on to pinch hit. And you've got Mark Pachota throwing in the bullpen, along with there's Jerry Spradlin and Wayne Gomes for the Phillies.
It's a 2-run game on a very hot day with the wind blowing out.
So far he's handled Relaford very well into at bats, but this is a pretty tough hitter.
Relaford 0 for 2. He has bounced into a forced play and has struck out swinging. He came in with the top batting average among rookies at .292. And Jeremy misses with ball 1. Phillies have a 6-game road trip. They're starting it today. 4 against the Cubs, then 2 games in Boston. After Sunday's game, we'll be done with the Phillies until next year. And that's rifled into left. Tying runs are aboard. Nobody out in the 7th.
And I would think that would be about it for Jeremy Gonzalez, but we'll have to see what Jim Riggleman has in mind. Ruben Amaro has been announced. He is a switch hitter, a much better hitter from the left side, but you only have a right-hander up in the pen anyway, so they're expecting a bunt with Jose in at third, and here comes Riggs, and that's going to be it for Jeremy Gonzalez.
So Jeremy 6 innings plus, 5 runs so far. The runners at first and second belong to him. He struck out 3 men. Did not walk a batter and gave up a home run. Gave up 4 runs in the first inning on 5 hits. Has given up no runs on 4 hits since. So Gonzalez, a big time rebound, and he also went 3 for 3 at the plate. But now he turns the game over to the bullpen in the 7th. First and second, nobody out. 7-5 in favor of the Cubs. We'll see how Mark Pachota fares right after this. This year has Mr. Glanville, and Terry Mulholland, the former Philly, begins to loosen up. Amaro pinch hitting for Perez. He is 7 for 26 in a pinch with 3 runs batted in. First and second, nobody out in the Phillies half of the 7th.
Ruben doesn't have much power, but what power he does have, it comes from the left side of the plate.
In at third is Jose Hernandez, expecting a bunt. No sign of it on that pitch from Pachota.
I would think with the wind blowing out, not wanting to play for a tie on the road, you'd let Ruben swing away. And as a pinch hitter, he's been pretty good. Only Lenny Harris has been better.
That ball crushed into right field. And it's just foul by an eyelash.
Boy, there's a break that would have probably scored 2. But that one on the right side of the line as far as the Cubs were concerned.
Well, the Cubs clinging to a 2-run lead here. 7-5, and here's a look at that extra base bid.
Down the line, Wally Bell on the call, and as you can see, about 3 or 4 inches foul. That could be a big difference in this game.
One ball, 1 strike to Amaro. High pop, shallow left, long run Henry, long run Blauser. Can anybody catch up? Yes, it's Henry Rodriguez. 1 away. Sharon Panazzo wants to wish Bruce getting out this guy, Doug Glanville. Jeremy held him to 0 for 3. A 17-game hit streak on the line, the longest in baseball since Mariano Duncan had 18 straight in '93 in the National League. Glanville has yet to hit the ball out of the infield. And Pachota gets strike 1 over. Well, that first batter faced so critically important for a pen man, and Pachota got Amaro to fly out softly to left.
Now Jeffries is much more dangerous from the left side, so you might see Mulholland come in to turn him around from the right side.
That slips away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Marlins have beaten Atlanta 3-2 the final down at Turner Field. Ojala beats Glavine, and Glavine's bid for his 10th win denied today. 3-2 the final. Here it's 7-5 in favor of the Cubs, who came from 4-0 down to take the lead. The pitch, 2-1. Mulholland just about ready if needed. The Philly pen is ready too. Two and one, and that's hammered down the left field line, and Mulholland watches it skip away. It's 2-2.
Boy, another break that would have scored at least 1, but fortunately for the Cubs, it was foul.
Without question, this is the hottest day at the ballpark we've had this year. It is
No
like
doubt about that.
sitting in a steam bath. Two balls, two strikes. The pitch. He just stayed alive.
Glanville is pretty tough to strike out. Just 30 strikeouts this year in 302 at bats. And he just barely was able to stay alive there. Maybe a good slider here might do the trick. He has grounded into 3 double plays this year, but he's a tough man to double.
As you said, maybe the fastest guy in the National League from the right-hand batter's box down to first base. The 2-2 pitch. Here it is. Back up the middle. Peixoto deflects it to Blauser. He'll flip to second. That's the only play the Cubs have.
Well, that'd have been a base hit, but it hit off the leg of Peixoto, and it goes as a 1-6-4 force out. And yet another break. That was ticketed for a base hit. Glanville maybe will have seen his streak in. He hits this ball very hard, right back up the middle. But Mark Peixoto able to get a leg in front. Now they are indeed going to turn Jeffries around to the right side where he's a bit weaker. Jeffries a switch hitter. All 5 of his home runs have come from the left side, hitting just .262 as a right-hand hitter.
Runners first and third, 2 outs, and Mulholland delivers a strike. Jordan the runner at third, Glanville the runner at first. He is a threat to steal too. But Mulholland with that left-hand look at first single-handedly can shut down a running game. The 0-1 is down and in.
I would think one of the advantages of having Terry on the mound is that Glanville is not going to be going, especially with Morandini playing up the middle. But Glanville has been awfully good on the base paths. 13 stolen bases in 15 attempts.
Hit toward third. Jose knocks it down. Throws to first in time. That stretch.
Tribute to Harry Carey's legendary career. Please join in the singing of Take Me Out to the Ball Game, led by one of the greatest players ever in Cubs history, Ryne Sandberg.
Hey, how you doing? Well, Harry loved baseball, and Harry loved his fans, and Harry was also a big Ryne Sandberg fan, and I'll never forget that. So let's try this for Harry and do our best. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the ground. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. At the old ball game, hey!
Half of the 7th inning with Steve Stone, Chip Caray, and former Cub great Ryne Sandberg in the booth here at the friendly confines. So great to meet you. Great job in the 7th inning stretch.
Well, thank you. I think I'd rather face Nolan Ryan than do that, but we made it through it, and it's all for Harry, and so glad to be here.
I noticed a few beads of perspiration on your forehead. Was that because of the singing or because of the thermometer today?
A little bit of both. A little bit warm out here today, but got a good game going on.
Sammy Sosa's going to lead things off. I was just glad you didn't have to say, let's get some runs like we've had to say the last few times out here.
Well, the offense has done a good job today, and you know, there's still some game left, but Cubs are swinging some good bats today.
Sammy is 0 for 3 today. But what a month of June he is having. 16 home runs, 33 runs batted in his last 18 games. I don't know, you played with Sammy for so many years. Have you ever seen him this hot and playing this kind of baseball?
Well, I've seen Sammy in some streaks where he can get hot, but you know, he's just staying hot for longer periods of time this year, I think. And so you know, he's just had a great season so far, and you know, I know that he wants to keep that up, and there's really no reason why he shouldn't keep it up.
There's a drive right center field. On his horse is Glanville. He hauls it in at the edge of the track for out number 1.
Well, Rhino, he's going after one of your records, most home runs in June by a Cub.
Well, he has a good shot for it, but what's he have, a couple weeks left?
Yes.
And, you know, the way that he's swinging the bat and the power that he has, he should give it a good run.
Well, what have you been doing lately to keep yourself busy?
Well, we've been traveling as a family and taking some trips. I've been busy with Little League games and school games back in Phoenix, so seeing a lot of baseball. This is our 3rd trip back to Chicago. And, you know, the Diamondbacks are in Arizona, so we've been able to go to 4 or 5 games out there. So, all in all, I've definitely kept in touch with baseball.
Well, it's an exciting year for that.
Grace inside the bag, fair down the left field line. Mark's going to take the turn at first, and he'll hustle into second with a stand-up double. He's 2 for 4 today. How about the year that guy's having?
Well, Mark is solid as ever, and you know, with the lineup that they have at the top of the order this year, you know, he's just fitting right in and doing what he always does, and obviously being more productive because of the guys around him.
So he's aboard with his 19th double, his 29th multi-hit game of the year. For Mark Grace, as he closes in on 100 hits so far this season. Ryne Sandberg in the booth on a very hot, muggy day at Wrigley Field. We've got a special treat for you here in a second. April 26th. Steve Cook, the pitcher of the Pirates. What did you do that day?
Well, I believe that was a home run.
You are correct,
obviously.
sir.
One that I'll never forget. But you know, had some fun last year, hitting a couple home runs that meant something to me personally, and
Hawaii.
but you know, all that's over with now, and you know, enjoying watching the '98 Cubs and the season that they're having.
And that was the shot of that home run as you passed Joe Morgan. Boy, oh boy, what a thrill at Wrigley Field. It was a beautiful day then, another beautiful day today here at Wrigley Field. Henry Rodriguez, a 2-run homer in today's ball game. That went all the way to the backstop. Mark Grace hustles on over to third. Takes a big turn, doesn't advance. You miss the game, you miss the playing, you miss the everyday stuff of being a major league ball player?
No, I think that's the part of it that I don't miss, is the everyday grind and preparation for a game, and the travel and just everything that goes with it. But you know, as far as being at the ballpark and being at ball games, you know, I'm able to go to just enough games that I can get my fill that way and still keep in contact with the game.
Well, I know you probably do some instruction to the little leaguers. Do you have any desire to get back in the game, and as far as coaching is concerned, or front office work?
Well, you know, I think after this year's over with, you know, just take this year off and enjoy the summer. But you know, maybe somewhere down the road, doing something to stay within the game. I think I'd like to do that.
Runner at third, infield in now. A very big run on a 3-0 count to Henry, and he takes strike one. 3 balls and a strike. Cubs have a 2-run lead here in the home half of the 7th inning at Wrigley Field, trying to win their 41st game of the year and trying to take the first game of this 4-game series from the Philadelphia Phillies. Swing and a miss, 3-2. Do you think about the Hall of Fame at all, Ryan?
Well, you know, I think about it a little bit, but you know, obviously that'd be the best honor, the greatest honor that I could receive. And you know, now that my playing days are over, you know, maybe that is down the road for me, but you know, obviously totally out of my hands.
A high fly into left. Greg Jeffries comes in. He's under. He's got it. There's the tag at third by Grace. He'll trot home easily ahead of the play, and the Cubs get a big insurance run. A sacrifice fly from Henry. His 3rd RBI of the day and his 41st of the year. Well, I think you belong in Cooperstown, and I know a lot of voters will think the same way when your turn comes 4 or 5 years now, when the voting process begins for you. Both you and Ron Santo belong in the Hall of Fame. Hopefully you'll both get there.
Well, thank you.
Jose Hernandez now will stand in. This guy getting a chance to play every day, and he has been terrific. He's 1 for 3 today.
Well, Jose's a buddy of mine, and he's getting a chance to prove himself this year and get some at bats, a lot of at bats, and he's showing what he can do. He had an outstanding winter hitting the long ball, and now he's doing it here for the Cubs, and that's outstanding.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, Jose said really the key is the fact that he is getting more at bats consistently than he's ever gotten before, and some people might be surprised at the power he's showing, but he was able to show this kind of power in brief spurts, but he never really had a prolonged time to show that he can hit the ball out of the park pretty consistently.
1-1.
Well, he's a great guy to have on the team also. He'll do anything. He'll, like you see, he'll play center field, the left field, third base, second, short. He'll do whatever he can to help a ball club, and now he seems to be settling in at third base and really making the most of it.
2 balls and a strike. 2-2. Well, when you started off your big league career, starting in the Phillies organization, any idea that this would turn out the way that it turned out for you coming to Chicago?
No, I had no idea. There was one point where I just wanted to take it year by year and move up a level in the minor leagues, and just wanted to make it to the major leagues. At one point, I thought I would do it as a utility type player and break in that way, but I got a break coming here to Chicago and playing every day at third base that first year, and I think that was the thing that really got me going.
And you never stopped hitting, that's for sure. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Hernandez. And that just missed high. 3-2.
Rhino, the 2 years the Cubs won the division, 84 and 89, had to be pretty thrilling, and the Cubs have the kind of ball club this year where they might have a shot to do it. What kind of feeling was it in the dugout on a daily basis when you had a ball club that had a chance?
Well, obviously, it's a good situation. Should we talk about that later? Or
yes, we shall.
All right.
Hang right in there. You've got a future in this business, by the way. 1 run scores in the 7th. A big insurance run for the Cubs, who now lead it by 3. Strike from Terry Mulholland. Brant Brown, big day offensively, moves now to left field. Terrell Lowry comes into play center. Henry Rodriguez is out of the ball game for the Cubs. And Rhino, you were finishing your point?
Yes. Well, first of all, it seems to me like there's a real good attitude on the ball club that they can go out and win every single game. Every time they take the field, they have a look about them like they're going to win, which is good. And also the way that everybody's contributing. It seems like it's a 24-man roster, and everybody's playing and contributing, and that's very healthy for a ball club. And everybody's doing the job.
Roland stays alive. 1-2 is the count.
You said you thought the 84 team might have been just a little better than the 89 team, and why was that?
Well, I think the 84 team much more experienced, guys that had been there before, as compared to the 89 team that were some young guys just up with their first or second year in the major leagues. So both years very fun, funnest years of my career, and hopefully we'll have some type of a summer here this year where it'll be the same type of feeling around here.
Well, Arnie Harris has already said that the party will be at his house if the Cubs can win the division this year, as Blauser handles the rolling roller and retires him by a half step over at first. You gotta like the way this kid Scott Rowland plays third base for the Phillies.
Yeah, he's outstanding. Plays very hard. Right there, a routine ground ball, and here he is, a third baseman, getting down there, making it a bang play. But what I've seen from him, especially last year, he can do everything, and he'll be a star, not only now but years to come.
Rico Brogna swings and misses at the Mulholland delivery, and it's strike 1. Well, I know it's a muggy day. You've got the family here. We'll let you off the hook. Go get something cold to drink. Get into some air conditioning.
Appreciate it.
And Ryne Sandberg, a great pleasure to meet you and see
thanks.
you. All the best. Don't be a stranger. Cub great Ryne Sandberg here at Wrigley Field. And he's obviously the good luck charm today, Steve, because the Cubs have lost 6 of 8. Rhino shows up, and all of a sudden the big sticks come out, and 4 home runs have been hit by the Cubbies.
And it would be a big comeback today, down 4-0.
0-2 pitch popped up. Brant Brown, playing very deep in left, now comes charging. And there's out number 2. It looks obvious to me that Brown feels much more comfortable coming in on the ball as opposed to going back.
Well, I think that's why he plays as deeply as he does. But also he's just getting used to those outfield positions, and a first baseman by trade coming up has been asked to play center and left field, done a pretty good job at both. And of course a big offensive day for him today.
With 2 home runs, 3 hits, 3 RBIs. And the Philadelphia catcher Mike Lieberthal, the batter, he's 1 for 3. Philadelphia scored 4 runs on 5 hits in the first inning. Since then they have been neutralized. Toward third and foul. Terry Adams ready if needed. And now the tough times begin for Ryne Sandberg. He has to go answer all the print media questions in the press room. But at least they've got air conditioning in there. The pitch is a ball. Ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Same 2 teams tomorrow. Hopefully it'll rain like crazy tonight and get all this humidity out of town for Mark Clark and Carlton Lower. A 2:20 start Chicago time. The game will be televised here on WGN. Then Saturday night, Kerry Wood will face Matt Beach. A 7:05 start. Wayne Larrivee will sit with Steve Stone and call that ball game. Then I'll be back with Stoney on Sunday for the series finale. Terry just missed and the count runs full. Mr. Larrivee will be on cloud 9 after that Bulls championship romp over the Utah Jazz, so got to bring him down to earth a little bit, partner. 3-2 pitch on the ground to short. Blauser to his left. Shows some good range that time and retires the catcher to retire the side. 3 up, 3 down in the 8th. To the bottom half we go. It's 8-5 Cubs. 8-5 our score. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Cubs have the lead. Here's a look at our Ameritech play that makes a difference.
One of the big differences today, Henry Rodriguez, as he extends and takes it out of the ballpark. And that gave the Cubs the lead, and they've never been headed. And for Henry, home run number 13, and that's your Ameritech playbook.
Here's Jeff Blauser. Jeff 1 for 2. He scored twice. Again, the Cubs looking for some consistency and some production at the bottom of that order. Blauser with 1 for 2 has scored twice. Jose Hernandez keeps up his great work. Now if we can get Scott Service to wrap out a base hit here in the 8th inning, you'd have to say overall you'd be very pleased with what the lower half of the order has done today.
Mark Pachota did a fine job. He came on for 2/3 of an inning, got the ball to Terry Mulholland, and Terry has been pitching brilliantly.
Blauser takes an 0-1 pitch into right center field, but that's dead man's curve out there as Glanville hauls it in. Don't get too many past that young man. He's a good player. And really, you look at that trade for both teams. It was just a great baseball trade. Wasn't orchestrated by economics or a desire to move salary. It's a trade that helped both teams and has helped both teams tremendously here in '98. Terry Mulholland out on deck. Service hits the ball to third. And is retired and is 0 for 4. So let's see how adventurous Mr. Mulholland will be here. Remember, Terry's still, I think, smarting a bit after that rocket shot hit by Chipper Jones back up the middle down in Atlanta. So we'll see how well he's able to swing the bat here. He looks outside. Way outside from Spradlin. 2 balls, no strikes.
I think Terry would just as soon take a walk here and not have to swing the bat and worry about the vibration on that thumb.
Upstairs, 3-0. And there's a strike. 3-1 to Terry Mulholland. Well, a Cubs win, and the players and wives will be very happy again tonight at Harry Carey's restaurant at Dearborn and Kinsey, 7 and 9 o'clock. The big charitable function. And if you're in the area, stop by. Some great Cubs memorabilia will be up for grabs. Kerry Wood autographed cap among the items up for bid, and all the proceeds benefit charity. So we look forward to seeing you later on tonight, perhaps. The 3-2 pitch. Terry takes a cut, flies it into right. Abreu charges, dives, can't make the play.
And how about Terry Mulholland with his first hit? And I think that hand is really sore. He brings it in close to his body. Jan Radisson talks to him, and I'm not sure if he wanted a hit, but what a competitor. He decided to take a swing, and I'm not sure if the base hit makes up for the pain he's experiencing right now, but he'll knock Jerry Spradlin from the mound. From the Southwest Airlines Plainview camera, we'll take a look at the first hit of the season for Terry Mulholland, and there is the camera high atop very hot muggy Wrigley Field.
So Spradlin leaves an inning and 2/3, 2 hits, 1 run so far, 1 strikeout, no walks. And the left-hander Darren Winston will come on and relieve him and become the 4th Philly pitcher of the day. Brant Brown will greet him. Face a much more determined bunch tomorrow, I am sure, as the Cubs want to exact as much revenge as possible in Game 2 as well. So it's Brant Brown, 3 for 4 today with a couple of home runs. And he looks at ball 1. Diamondbacks beat the Reds 4-2. Marlins beat the Braves 3-2. Cincinnati, by the way, released Pete Rose Jr. He was being demoted from AAA down to AA, refused the assignment, was granted his release. In that Cincinnati situation, another report out of New York says that Bud Selig is expected to become baseball's permanent commissioner. That's just a speculative report, however. The topic was discussed at the owners' meetings apparently in Seattle a couple of weeks ago. And Selig apparently has been convinced to take the job. Brant Brown sends a drive deep left. Jeffries back, track, hit the wall. He's got 3 home runs. The Cubs have hit 5 home runs today. Brown's got 3 of them. And 2 years ago today, he hit his first 3 major league home runs in a doubleheader against the Dodgers.
5 runs driven in on 3 home runs, and Brant Brown goes the opposite way. And the fans want a curtain call. He's got 10 for the year, and how about that? What a day for Brant Brown. Wow.
10 home runs, 30 runs batted in after today's play. So Winston serves up the home run to the left-hander.
This is a slider away, and Brant Brown is awfully strong. Jeffries can only look up and wave bye-bye for Southwest Airlines. That one flew 359 trifecta feet. 3 home runs. Wow.
Sosa hit 3 Monday. Brown hits 3 today. And all kinds of debris being showered on the field in center field. Doug Glanville out earning the Good Housekeeping Award, and now one of the ushers will come over and help clean up the debris. They're throwing the hats out for the hat trick.
Well, he is becoming not the first and probably not the last, but a bona fide downtown Brown. Pretty impressive day today for the Cub hitters, and especially Brant Brown. 5 driven in. Give Yorkis Perez the game ball. He's the only guy that got him out, or would have gotten him out, except for the air.
So while we continue to clean up the lids and assorted bric-a-brac from the field, Mickey Morandini stands in. Mickey 0 for 4 today. Went 1 for 13 in the Milwaukee series. So he is due. The pitch is lined into left center field. That'll drop for a hit. Well, Winston came on to try to get out the two left-hand hitters. He served up a home run and now a single. And now Sosa will be the batter, and let's see if he'll face the lefty. So Toby Borland will come on and face Sosa. Brant Brown and Sammy Sosa each have hit 3 home runs in the same game within the span of a week.
This slider out away, and Brant Brown pretty sure he got it all, but taking nothing for granted until it indeed leaves the ballpark.
So Borland will go to work against Sammy Sosa. He looks to get in on the fun offensively.
Toby on for the 4th time, a 2.70 ERA. He's only thrown 3 1/3 innings.
Sosa and Service, the only 2 Cubs starters not to tally a hit in the ballgame, as the Cubs have pounded out 14 hits and have the big lead. Borland on for the 4th time this year. Here is Sosa.
Last time the Cubs had 10 was against these same Phillies.
Sosa 25 home runs, 64 batted in, and he looks at strike 1. Sosa is 0 for 2 lifetime against the Philly right-hander. And the count evens up at a ball and a strike. After a 4-0 first inning, it looked like it would be a long and hot day. After the Cubs have come back, outscoring the Phillies 10-1 since then, it's been just a hot day. 2 balls and a strike. Cubs bidding for win number 41 on the year. And try to gain a little ground in the Central. The 2-1. Sweeps outside, 3 balls and a strike. He takes the walk. So 1st and 2nd, 2 out. And here's Mark Grace. Well, Grace could use a little luck here. He hasn't had an RBI in 15 games. He has, however, continued to hit brilliantly. He's 2 for 4 today. He's singled, doubled, scored twice. His 29th multi-hit game of the year. But a base hit would plate his 43rd run of the year.
He should get a good look at Borland, because being a sidearm right-hander, the left-hander sees the ball all the way.
The Cubs have slugged 5 home runs today. Way outside. The count even 1-1. Later on tonight in the National League, San Diego's at San Francisco. The Cardinals are in Houston again. Pittsburgh and Milwaukee. Grace lines toward left. Here comes Mickey around third. Jeffries up. Here comes the throw. It's not in time. Mark Grace has his 43rd ribby of the year. And he's 3 out of 5 on the day.
Mark Gray's bidding to recapture the lead in National League batting average. Drives this one into left field. You're going to run on Jeffries every chance you get. And Mickey Morandini does the honors.
And Terrell Lowry now becomes the hitter. Terrell 167 on the year. Winston, 2 hits, 2 runs, a home run. And both hits came against left-handed hitters. The Cubs just keep on pouring it on. The only inning in which they have failed to score was the 5th. One ball, 1 strike. On the edge, 1-2. Not too many goose eggs on the lower portion of that score. And that's just the way you like it. It's 2-2. The pitcher spot today for the Cubs. Number 9 in the order went 4 for 4. Lowry down the right field line. Sosa scampers around third. He's going to score. Terrell a sliding double. A 4-run inning. And Jose Hernandez another crack at this Philly bullpen.
Terrell Lowry with his first RBI of the year, and the hit parade continues.
"16 Cub safeties today. 4 runs in the 8th. And Jose becomes the 9th man to bat in the inning. A solo home run back in the 2nd made it a 4-2 Philly game. But the Cubs have come charging right back. Strike 1 called. Cubs bidding to even up their record on the homestand at 2 up and 2 down. 2 strikes to Jose. And the fans literally battling for the souvenir. The 0-2. Breaking ball missed. It's 1-2. Twelve to 5 in favor of the Cubs. Good stop behind the plate. 2-2. Mr. Lieberthal is getting a workout today. Ron Beck can sit back and enjoy this one. Two and 2, 2 outs, 2 on. Fouled off his body. Crowd today 21,267. The Cubs officially went over the 1 million mark in attendance during yesterday's game. The 2-2. Rifled foul out of play. And a fine catch up there.
But the day belongs to Brant Brown. And what a day he's had, a day that he'll always remember.
Again, he ought to circle the calendar and make every day June 18th. 2-2. It's full now, 3-2. Sammy Sosa can relate to the thrill of a 3-home run ball game. Brant Brown's turn was today. Who will be next this year for the Cubs? The 3-2. Served into center field. Glanville is over. He's under. He's got it. And the inning is over. But 4 runs score for the Cubs as they bat around in the 8th. Brant Brown, the hero today. 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, and a curtain call as well in a 12-5 Cub game. Fan who caught Brant Brown's 3rd home run ball of the day. The Cubs have pounded the Phillies by a 12-5 score. Rex Hudler to pinch hit. They call this guy Rex the Wonder Dog. And boy, you talk about a man who is very happy to be in Major League Baseball, understands and appreciates the good fortune that he has to be wearing a Major League uniform. You talk to this guy and you really come away feeling good about the game. A fly to left. Brant Brown is under. He's got out number 1. Hudler played in Japan, came back, and even when he makes it out, he hustles on and off the field. He's a free spirit, kind of a character, but a very, very good person. Here's Kevin Jordan. He's got a couple of hits today. Terry Mulholland trying to save his 2nd ball game of the year. 1 ball, no strikes. Jordan an RBI as well. Very versatile guy. He's played second base 6 times, first base 6 times. He's been the DH 3 times. And he'll be the DH Monday and Tuesday when the Phillies play against the Red Sox in Boston. Tomorrow it's Mark Clark's turn.
And he would like the same kind of support if he could order it up.
Clark will try to run his record to 5-7 on the year. We approach the 4 o'clock hour in Chicago. The bell tolling closer toward midnight, however, for the Phillies as Jordan takes his sweet time getting back in the box. The 1-1 is low from Terry. 2 balls and a strike. Look out, folks. I think everybody's all right. 2-2. I guess he threw that pitch too hard. 3-2 the count. A high pop into right. Sammy's there. 2 down.
And has become the custom, the Cubs on their feet looking for the final out of the ball game. A big comeback today and a very enjoyable win for the Cubs.
And a win enjoyed by a big Cubs fan, Jack the Goose Givens, watching the game down in Orlando, Florida today. Gooseman, a former University of Kentucky superstar basketball player, once scored 41 in the title game. But every year the point total goes up.
And he had to overcome working with you on the Magic basketball.
He'll have his best year this year, as I won't be there with him. No balls and a strike to Arias. Strike 2. Phillies down to their final strike. And the Cubs 1 pitch away perhaps from their 41st win. Grace, what a pick. Mulholland covers and the Cubs win. 12-5, the Cubs rout the Phillies in game 1. Brant Brown, the big star today. 3 homers, 5 runs batted in. The Cubs pound the Phillies for 5 homers in the game. On a hot, muggy day, the wind was blowing out and the Cubs win game 1.